OCO Halito. How y'all doing today? The topic is the Jaguar and the Eagle Shaman Warriors. All right, we gonna do this. Now, this is like part 2, a continuation of the last video. So, let's get started. All right, this is a Jaguar warrior. All right, now, the civilization of the Olmec, the Xi, the Xi, the Tamoanchans, they laid the foundation. All right. And it was passed on to the mixed tech, so to speak. You got the mixed tech that encompasses the Zapotec, um, on down to the Toltec, to the Mayans, to the Aztec. All right. All right. Now, I'm focusing on the Olmec and the Mayans. Yes, we will mention the Aztecs, but the Olmec, the Mayans, the Toltecs really focused on the sacred writings and the spiritual practices, because some of the Aztec warriors, like in the beginning, yes, they did sacrifice the hearts of the enemies, invaders, or people that were basically fucking up. That's how initially, and then of course with anything, shit gets out of hand. People be fucking up, okay? People be fucking up and shit be getting out of hand, okay? Now, I do have a mighty Jaguar warrior card. Y'all know that I do spiritual sessions, readings, all that. All right. Spirituality readings deals with your indigenous astrology, your Creole astrology versus this astrology that we have today. Okay, I mix some Vedic in there because I do have cards that deal with the Great Mother in the aspect of Kali Ma. All right, so I don't know if y'all can really see the card, but this is a Jaguar warrior or warrioress. All right, now Malinka or Malinkin, I have to look up the word, but anyway, that it was also a training ground for the Jaguar and Eagle warriors. All right, they got the story about the place. It's kind of like to scare off like tourists and shit, but that was the place where they did the training. It's a great serpent there, and inside the great serpent is a statue or a motif, a totem of the jaguar and the eagle. All right. Within the great mother, within the great serpent, the great mother is Kultuku. In Creole spirituality, we say that's Aida Wedo. That's the feminine aspect, and Dambala is the male aspect. All right. So now the great mother has twins. She gives birth to fraternal twins. One is a female, one is a male. All right. It represents feminine aspects in everything, male aspects in everything. All right. And so, yeah, I had to show y'all that. I got the cards. I don't play. So if y'all want a life path reading or spirituality reading, get at me at rrjxitips.com. All right. Now, I did want to read an excerpt though before we get to it, because this is a Jaguar warrior. All right. This book, we're coming from this book. All right. Now, the book is actually, I have the book. I have several books in my arsenal, but I don't know if it's picking it up. But it's The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom. All right. And it breaks down the ThunderBird clans and the Serpent clans, the Snake clans, the Dragon Clans, which is a worldwide brother and sisterhood underground, while we up here fighting on, we got the truth. No, we got the truth. We got the truth. And while everybody fighting and shit, there's an underground brother and sisterhood, people from every sect, every major sect that represents the Great Mother and your spiritual power. The life force within you is described as, the serpent rising, your Wakanyan, your Kundalini, your Prana, your Chi energy, your spiritual life force, your sacred fire, your personal power that is within you, how it activates you so you can really focus and see through your first eye, and it activates your junk DNA. You know how they try to say we got junk DNA and shit. We have ways to tap into that quote unquote junk DNA. And the eagle and the jaguar shaman warriors tapped into that. Also, the Jedi tapped into that. The lung dragons of Asia. See, the Olmec civilization was a collective of melanated beings, people of color. You have the Aboriginal, uh, Negroid type. Then you have the like the Mexican type, and then you have the Asian type. Of course, you have the Ethiopian type. That was what the Olmec civilization was, a collective. It's kind of like, I kind of compare it to the Galactic Federation, but it's kind of like, because we have stories in our indigenous bloodline tribes. We have stories about how we came from different star constellations, different planets spiritually, because in the cosmos is the heavens. There's many layers to the heavens. There's many levels to the heavens, and each star system, each planet is different worlds that's out of this world that our ancestors came from. We got stories that talks about the star people or the star nations. The Hopi has a prophecy about the blue and the red Kachina. All right, research that. I'm gonna do a video on some Hopi stuff. I've been into that since I was young. But anyway, the focus is Jaguar and Eagle warriors. Olmec civilization is the founding mothers and fathers, because I showed y'all pictures of the Olmec mothers giving milk to their babies in my previous video. All right. So we're gonna get to it. All right. Now, the motif of the jaguar. I rocks with that. I've done videos about how this aspect of Great Spirit has manifested itself to me for a long time, years and years. And when I did my Mesoamerican or indigenous conglomerate of this astrology, because they had observatories. Those are centers where they observe the stars, they observe the cosmos, the heavens. And this is when you have the constellations and the different groupings and the zodiac, where the zodiac came from. Our original melanated ancestors actually are the foundation of that. Their teachings are the foundation. And so this is a Jaguar warrior. All right. Now, the Olmecs passed this down to the various tribes. And okay. All right. Now you see him. He has on the regalia. All right. Now, he looks very aboriginal. All right. Aboriginal Negroid. Now, this would flow with the American Aborigines, the dark skinned Indians that were here in the Americas. All right. Also, this could also be attributed to our cousins in Alkebulan, Africa, Ethiopia, because the Olmec heads were given to several different places. All right. One was given to Ethiopia. So we're going to kind of like do a quick look at the Djedhis, because they are masters of this inner sacred fire. All right, they are masters, and I got the physical book. I don't know if y'all can see. I got the physical book, Return of the Serpents of Wisdom. This breaks down all the different civilizations, and I have this book pulled up, and we're gonna look at it. All right, now just bear with me. I don't know if y'all can see this picture, but how you see that symbol is rising. That's your power rising. It's like sleep when it's at like the base of your coccyx bone, and then it awakens. All right, but this is what these civilizations came together and they united. Okay, uniting the polarity and awakening the fire serpent. All right. They even talk about the photon belt, the cosmic fire serpent. Atlantis and Lemuria reunite. All right. I'm going to just read a little excerpt. Part of the polarity union on and within the earth will involve the reunion of the vestigial remains of the opposing earth twins, Atlantis and Lemuria. When the contrasting cultures of these early motherlands unite, the result is projected to be a new synthesized one world culture. And I'm gonna show y'all this page. Because we're going back to, because our focus is this page. We're gonna start here on 173. We're going to focus on 173. But let me go to what I'm reading so y'all can see what the fuck I'm reading. All right. This talks about the Anunnaki, the channelers, okay, the Jedi of Egypt. Y'all can take a screenshot, because we all are part of an ancient brother and sisterhood, an ancient brother and sister civilization. While we up here fighting like, oh, we got the truth. No, we got the truth. We got the real name of God. All this, and our ancient ancestors already had this shit unlocked, and they preserved these sacred teachings. All right. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear, type shit. But let's go to, okay, they talk about the Jedi serpents and all of that. All right. Orion focuses on Orion, the magician priest. When Jesus, the character Jesus in the stories that are in the Bible, the copulation stories of allegorical stories, when Jesus disappears at like, once he turns 12, we don't see him again until he's like 30, right? He went to the mystery schools, and they even talk about the Levites, the Levite priesthood, that learned from the Jedi's. They learned from the Jedi's. Moses, the character Moses, learned from the Jedi's. And that's how he was able to compete with the Pharaoh's shamans or magicians, the magi, in that story. But now this goes into the serpent goddess shit. But let's get to page 299, because we're gonna do a whole bunch videos on this. Okay, the Levites of Palestine and the possessors of fire, the Yod Hey Vahe, both spirit and dragon. See the video that I did. I believe it's titled. I know I talk about the missing years of Jesus, and it's in my Enigma Solver Chronicles. Go to that playlist, and I break this shit down. But Jesus was learning all this stuff. All right. He learned first from the Jedi, the Magi. He learned from them. And he delved with the Hindu people, which are Eastern Ethiopians. All right. Hindustan, India today. And then he went to Asia. So he tapped into all these different, the character of Jesus tapped into all these different spirituality systems. And he came back when he was 33. See, Moses the Levite, Moses the Egyptian magician priest. So check out Enigma Solver Chronicles. We're gonna go over that shit. But this is about the Gnostics. I do a series on all this shit, so just check it out. This book has a lot. It's very rich. I love this book. All right, The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom. All right, because I want to get to this page that I was reading about Atlantis and Lemuria. Because I see a lot of people like doing videos on them. The new land of the Phoenix. All right, the Phoenix Dragon. Now, the Phoenix Dragon. We will talk about the ThunderBird clans. I kind of talked about the ThunderBird clans. The World of Venus, the Christ, and the Phoenix. All right, we're gonna delve into some shit, y'all. But okay, let's see. This is the page. Wait a minute. Okay, this is the page. Okay, this is the page right here. I was reading from this. Okay, let's blow it up for y'all. Y'all want to see? All right. And it talks about a new heaven and a new earth, a new age. All right. Now, our ancient ancestors, they preserved the sacred writings for such a time as this. All right. But all right. I was reading part of the polarity union on and within the earth will involve the reunion of the vestigial remains of the opposing earth twins, Atlantis and Lemuria. When the contrasting cultures of these early motherlands unite, the result is projected to be a new synthesized one world culture. Since the destruction of Atlantis and Lemuria, the souls of these civilizations have continued to reincarnate within areas which are remaining vestiges of the two motherlands. It's two motherlands that they talk about. All right, as well as countries where their dispersing serpents migrated to. Souls of the Atlanteans, for example, have consistently reincarnated in areas which adjoin their former homeland. Okay, Europe and the East Coast of the United States, and therein produce cultures inspired by the left and the West Coast of, yeah, I was reading that. Okay. I need to move. All right. Let's start this part again. All right. It says, this is where the serpents migrated to after Atlantis and Lemuria was destroyed. All right. Souls of the Atlanteans, for example, have consistently reincarnated in areas which adjoined their former homeland, i.e., the East Coast of the United States and Europe, and therein produce cultures inspired by left brain technology and imperialism. By contrast, the souls of Lemurians have continued to reincarnate upon those lands which are remaining vestiges of Mu, or once adjoined the Pan-Pacific continent, the Pacific Islands, China, India, the west coast of North and South America. When they say India, they have to insert Africa also. We dodging the hijack, we adding what needs to be added because this person left out Africa there. All right. So Mu, all right, Mu and Lemuria cultures, or North and South America, North, Central, and South America. All right. Um, Pacific Islands, Hindustan, Ethiopia, India, China. All right. They produce Lemurian cultures based upon right brain, spirituality, and art, and dedication to living in harmony with Mother Earth. So basically, a lot of melanated people, people of color, we have various tribal names in the Americas and Akbulan, Africa, um, in parts of all these different parts, right? We are spiritual beings, all right? We are spiritual beings, and we are quote unquote right-brained people. Right-brain spirituality and intuition, we flow in that, all right, which is about living in harmony with Mother Earth. We are about that life, being one with Mother Earth. Like our indigenous tribes deal with the elements of Mother Earth, okay, the different elements. All right, so this is where Lemurian, Mu, and the Atlanteans, they come in to being, right? Into the lesson today. But okay, this is the old world, okay, that they're talking about. Lemurians, Mu, and Atlanteans. And then when their land was destroyed, they migrated to different parts of the world. All right. And it is said that the Olmec, the Xi, the Xi, the Tamoanchans came from Mu. All right. All right. This is like, all right. Now I've read several books. And then we can look up several books, the PDFs to these books, y'all. All right. Okay. So it's saying that leading up to the new age, reincarnated Lemurian souls will unite with the reincarnated souls from Atlantis in order to produce a united Lemurian Atlantean culture. This new culture will eventually become worldwide and be a balance of left brain technology and right brain spirituality and intuition. So, their hope is to come back to that core principle. When they had Mu, Lemuria, and Atlantis, they was flowing in spirituality and culture. They had high technology. So, it's kind of like they married both opposing things. These are the polarity things. All right, and it talks about the new heaven and the new earth. I'm gonna just briefly read this and we're gonna get to the stuff at hand. All right, the Jaguar Shaman warriors and the Eagle Shaman warriors. All right. Okay, according to biblical prophecy, the new age is scheduled to dawn at the completion of Armageddon. All right, the global battle, which is projected to occur as the polar opposite principles of good and evil, light and darkness, attract each other and clash. At the collision of this planetary war, Dragon and its destructive power, which is introduced in the 13th chapter, 13, the number of death and resurrection of the book of Revelation. They do talk about this in this book. Okay. Will be subdued by his twin and the creative power of spirit he wields. All right. This event is presented in the Bible as the uh, Christ Son who descends from the heavens upon a brilliant white steed, lays hold of the dragon, and casts him into the bottomless pit. So they are talking about the esoteric meaning of this. Don't get it twisted. It's an esoteric meaning, all right, behind this. All right. In other words, the powers of destruction within the earth will become dormant again, and the creative powers upon its surface will once again be ascendant. The final defeat of the dark dragon by the heavenly powers of creation will signal the crystallization of a new heaven and new earth. All right. Then they talk about the fifth world, the world of reunion. I'm gonna just go ahead and read this. Um and I'm gonna look at this other. All right. The new heaven and new earth of Revelations is a description of the coming new age or fifth world. The fifth world follows the four previous worlds of 26,000 years, which have elapsed during the current 104,000-year cycle, thus making it the fifth in a series of ages. Okay. As the culmination of the previous four worlds, the fifth world will be a holistic synthesis of all the knowledge, both spiritual and scientific. So, this new world that is to come is going to embrace spiritual things and scientific, technological shit, but it's going to be a balance. Okay. So, spirit is on a whole nother level versus technology and science in that aspect. All right. All right, humankind, humans and humankind has accrued during a major cycle. It will unite the polarity as well as the divergent civilizations and cultures throughout the globe. For this reason, the fifth world is also known as the world of reunion. Okay, because we have all these opposing, but it's like basically the mature spiritual beings from Lemuria, and the spirit and the technological type beings from Atlantis. They have reincarnated into other beings, into other avatars. The mature ones that really got they got the shit, they're gonna spearhead the reunion of this and ushering in this fifth world. All right. And they talk about the photon belt, the cosmic fire serpent. Okay, I'm gonna read this because I feel it's important. Okay, assisting in the transformation of Earth during its phase of destruction, then transformation, will be a massive photon belt through which the solar system is scheduled to pass in the late 1990s. Remember, the Olmec calendar, which was passed down, the Mayan calendar talked about the world ending in 2012. That was just the ending of a cycle. Okay. So this is also talking about this was scheduled to pass in the late 1990s. The celestial belt, a manifestation of the cosmic fire serpent, is composed of androgynous photons, feminine and male. All right. This is what your description of Great Spirit or God is: the mother, the feminine, the father, the masculine. All right. Androgynous photons, which are created by collisions of some subatomic particles of matter, electrons, with anti-electrons. This belt, which is intimately associated with the Pleiades within its core, as It is Alcyone. All right. Alcyone. And wields the destructive, transformative power of the celestial serpent, is theoretically passed through by the earth at the end of each 26,000 year cycle. So every 26,000 years, shit happens. All right. All right. In order to facilitate a fiery transformation upon the planet and prepare it for a new cycle of life. All right. Um, I've talked about this in my previous videos. Like, that was like, it is my message, is one of my core messages. In your spiritual, mental, and physical life, you go through different seasons. It's usually birth, life, which is spring. Okay, birth, spring forth. Summer is living life. Autumn, the fall, is when you start getting older. You go into this more mature meditative state, reflecting on your life, blah blah blah. And then you have you're reaching the wise elder element, and then you go into winter, which is represented by death. All right. Now, in the feminine aspect, they have the maiden, the mother, and the wise elder. They say the crone, but I don't like that analogy, that word. But it's just the progression from birth, adolescence, to adulthood, to elderhood, and then death, and then rebirth. Everybody has different seasons in their spiritual, mental, and physical life that represent spring, summer, fall, autumn, winter. All right. And so these are cycles, just like these cycles that they're mentioning. All right. The 26,000 year cycle. All right. It says, the celestial serpent is theoretically passed through by the earth at the end of each 26,000 year cycle in order to facilitate a fiery transformation upon the planet and prepare it for a new cycle of life. All right. And they had talked about this. So this just gives y'all an overview. Okay. Um, and this is because it is described as a fiery transformation, it is viewed as the new planet of the phoenix. Okay, you know the story about the phoenix, how it basically is obliterated with the fire, and then from the ashes it is rebirth. So it's death and rebirth, or destruction and transformation. These are the motifs of every major religion, every major spirituality system talks about these cycles of birth, life, adolescence, adulthood, elderhood, death, rebirth, that cycle. All right. All major religions, spirituality systems um, deal with this motif. Okay. But we're going to go back to um, the course at hand. All right. All right. So now this has to do with the descendants of the people of Lemuria, who traveled to North, Central, and South America, right? That we just read, right? All right, the serpent clans and tribes of North America, the serpents of the snake tribes and clans. All right. Now I believe that I read some of this before, but I'm a kind of give us a recap. All right. Okay, so this is talking about in North America. All right. In North America, you have you see right here it mentions the Cherokee serpents. All right, but it says according to ancient Native American records, when the colonizing serpents of wisdom arrived in North America, they organized themselves into numerous tribes, appointed a son as a leader over each, and then migrated to various parts of the North American continent. Excuse me. Some of the migrating serpents, such as the Shoshone, Iroquois, and Sioux, subsequently banded together into tribes which venerated serpentine patron deities and or became known by the names denoting snakes or serpents. Other serpents of wisdom cloistered together into serpent clans or societies after being assimilated into tribes which venerated multiple animal deities. We have spirit guides, we have animal spirit guides, we have animal totems. When you get a spirituality reading from me, I tap into your animal spirits, all right, versus your zodiac, all right. Two of the principal serpent clans they founded are known as the Snake and the ThunderBird clans. All right, this is about North America. Now, the Olmec Quetzalcoattls, the Mayan Kukulcans, the Amarus in Chavan, Peru, um, they deal more with the serpents, the jaguar, the puma, and the eagle, the condor. All right. So it just represents uh the underworld, the earth realm, and the heavens. It's three major levels, but it's levels on each level. You got the underworld, the earth realm, the spiritual realm, which is the heavens. Is different levels to every sector. All right. All right. So in North America, you have the Snake and the Thunderbird clans. All right. I tap into the Thunderbird clans. All right. But it says the serpents of the snake tribes and clans. All right. And they go on to say, basically how they tap into uh the snake energy just represents that spiritual sacred fire that is coiled and resting at your coccyx bone. It's like spiritual fire, electricity, spiritual on a whole nother level. It's your life force, your energy from Great Spirit. It rests there and then it rises up in the formation of a snake, serpent, dragon, all that. Um, Okay, so I want to get down to where they are talking about the tribes, but y'all can pause it and read it because we got to cover some ground here. All right. Um. Now it says, okay, so they talk about how they do have the venom, the poisonous snake venom within a medicine bag. Um They have serpent embellished rattles. Um, so they have medicine. They know what is poison. So in life, things that are poisonous are destructive. Things that are medicine, it's about healing. All right. It's about wholeness. All right. But okay, it talks about uh snake initiates was to be secretive, like a stealthily reptile, and some even develop a penchant for seeking out dark, secluded dwellings or living nocturnally. And it also notes in this book, I think I read it in the last video, how serpents, they do build mounds. Um, mounds. And our ancestors did mimic some of the things that animals did, like, okay, building a mound and or a pyramid. These are spiritual centers. Okay. Um, Spiritual centers like this. I went to Chichen Itza in the Yucatan, and this is the Great El Castillo, the Great Pyramid of Kukulcan. All right, this is the center of the Mayan Kukulcans. All right, this is the serpent. Kukulcan is just like um, Quetzalcoatl. All right. Quetzalcoatl Kukulkan is just in a slightly different language. All right. You have the Olmec Quetzalcoattls. You have the Mayan Kukulcans. All right. Now, this is a picture. Somebody did this, and I appreciate it. JDJ. I'm using this. Thank you so much. All right. Talks about how these pyramids were built. All right. And remember, I just read about the 26,000 year cycle and all of that, right? And I know I was just reading about the ThunderBird clans and the Snake clans, but let me just tap into this real quick. All right. Excuse me. This is the 365.24 day solar calendar. Okay, represent the 0.24 of the day. All right. So, okay, this represents 3 windows and 4 sides. 12 months represent 4 seasons broken into 3-month seasons. All right. 8 sides plus 4 stairs plus the top of the temple equals the 13th month in the Mayan year. All right. I do have the solar calendar on that sacred paper from Mexico, the sun calendar. All right. Now it talks about the 7. These dots represent the calendar week. 52 yellow dots represent the weeks in a year. Represent day, represent night. So this was done very strategically, just like the pyramids at Giza, just like in Cahokia, the Birdman constellation. Um, their city is the cities, the pyramids, and the mounds are strategically placed certain places to mirror what's in the cosmos, what's in the heavens. And there are vortexes, ley lines, spiritual centers on the earth that have that powerful energy to activate various things, but it's mirroring what's going on in heavens. But I'm sharing this, and I saw this. I said, "Oh, he broke it down." I got like black and white pictures that kind of talk about this, but the Ancient Agenda, JDJ 2013. Thank you. I did recycle this, but I actually stepped foot on the sacred motherland, Chichen Itza. All right. The land of my ancestors. Also, this one is another, okay, this shows that, okay, our ancestors went here during the time of the equinoxes and the solstices. All right. This is why a lot of, if you're in a, like, Abrahamic religions or different religions, when you have a major thing or a major holiday, it's patterned after previous spirituality systems that existed before Abrahamic religions. And these ceremonies and rituals took place during events in the cosmos, events in the heavens that happened. All right. Just like Christmas is around the winter solstice time. What happens in the heaven? They made up an allegorical story about how the three wise men, the three Jedi, the Magi followed the star in the east, and it's a picture of what happens in the heaven. They actually have diagrams that break down the story. So how they taught the people was they gave them allegorical elementary stories to break down these sophisticated events that happen in the heavens that are mirrored here on earth. People today that are in Abrahamic religion, they're just regurgitating the elementary stories. It's kind of like Mary had a little lamb versus the higher knowledge of what is actually happening in the heavens and the cosmos that's mirrored here on earth. But they have taught the ground level religious people just the Mary Little had a little lamb stories. But these secret societies, they're not secret now because it's a time when there's a revealing, like the book of Revelation. A lot of the Bible is a compilation of a lot of esoteric writings and borrowed from other ancient books. And you got to know how to read it. You got to have the keys to read it properly. Otherwise, you're just going to think all these allegorical stories are real. But you got to know what is literal, what is allegorical, what is esoteric, what is on a spiritual higher. You got to know how to decipher it. So that means you got to research and study. And as you do it, Great Spirit will reveal all that. But this is talking about the zenith cosmology over Chichen Itza. This is the celestial dome, the zenith, the center of the sky, the sun, and the Pleiades conjunct on May 20th. All right. Now, and it may be on another day. All right. Around this same window. All right. Okay. Tzab is the rattle for the Yucatic Maya. All right. The Pleiades was known as the rattle constellation. All right. I was talking about in Cahokia. They focus on I can't think of it right now what constellation, but the Birdman. They actually have effigy stones. They have the Birdman, and one of the chiefs was like called the Birdman, and that whole city of the sun, which is Cahokia, is patterned after a different constellation in the sky. All right. So back to this now. Okay. Now, in front of this temple of Kukulcan, all right, you have this is mirroring the Pleiades and the sun. The Pleiades and the sun. All right. It says the solar ahua, the sun face, is a feature of the Crotalus Dorissus, the rattlesnake. All right. Kukulcan Quetzalcoatl manifestation on March 21st. Any error, a cosmic reminder. All right. So this is basically talking about. Now, this is when basically the new year starts to happen during like between March 21st and April 1st is like the true new year. So this diagram is showing us these 9 levels. All right. The serpent head carved into the stone. So y'all just saw me standing in front of this. All right. So at the equinox, different equinoxes, you can see a silhouette of the sun moving on these steps. And it looks like this. So they gather in like a ceremonial fashion to look at a visible image of what's going on in the heavens as different signs and messages for them spiritually. They look at this. And then it can also be traveling up the pyramid. This is descending and this is ascending. Okay. So the ascending part would be during the springtime, springing forth, the new year. That will be the ascending. You would see Kukulcan or Quetzalcoatl move up the sacred pyramid. And within this pyramid is the sacred Jaguar throne, the red Jaguar throne. All right. Powerful energy here. I was there. Took pictures. It was an awesome experience. But okay, so this is a visual for y'all. All right. But this science or this spiritual culture was passed down to our ancestors. All right. Now this is all right. Now the topic is about the jaguar and the eagle shaman warriors. All right. The temple of the warriors. All right. The frescoes. Okay, you got a coyote, fox, then you have an eagle. All right. Okay, the skins of animals which were seen mentioned in the Maya prophecies, such as the jaguar, the kinkajou, the puma, the wildcat, and the coyote. From the same source and from the Mexican picture manuscripts. All right. He gives descriptions of illustrations of warrior regalia. They saying warrior costumes. Warrior regalia representing jaguars, all right, and coyotes. He believes that what he calls royal rank among the Mexicans went back in the first instance to Quetzalcoatl and the Toltec dynasty. All right, so I told y'all the Toltec basically got things back in order of the spiritual stuff because towards the end of the Aztec rule, at first they were cutting out the hearts of the enemy, the invaders, and bad people. But then it got too bad with anything. You have people in all civilizations that overdo shit and then like turn evil, so to speak, and do it unnecessarily. There's a time and a place for everything, but the Toltecs tap into the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge. All right, and it was passed down to some of the Mexicans and various tribes. Okay, and Mexicans are a mixture of people, also likened to uh, in North America, where you have the mulattoes, the Creoles, the maroons, and all of these names that they gave us, but they were dark-skinned indigenous people, and Mexicans are indigenous people also. No disrespect, but it's kind of like some of them are like the lighter skin version. It depends on how much Spanish blood they have in them, or white blood, just like mulattoes that are dark indigenous peoples, but it depends on how much white blood they got in them. It's just different. Look up caste, CASTE, caste systems in Mexico. or that the Spaniards, when they came and colonized, they had a caste system. I'm going to show y'all a picture of that. I'm going to look it up and show y'all, just so y'all can know what I'm talking about. They gave them different names depending on if their mama was this, if their daddy was this, then they had this child, and they gave it different names. It's a caste system where they break shit down. I don't agree with all of that, but I'm just showing you. All right. Let's make this bigger. But basically, okay, I also have this book, Chilam Balam. All right. Balam are the Jaguar warriors. Balam is like a jaguar deity, is just an aspect of Great Spirit in the form of the jaguar, which rules here on the earth realm. All right, let's read on. All right. Okay. Okay, we read that. Okay, and I talked about the Toltec. All right. It talks about the architectural remains of the Toltec occupation of Yucatan that we should look for archaeological confirmation. The jaguar, it is true, appears frequently in older Mayan art. Indeed, it goes back to some of the earliest monuments, but before the appearance of the um, Nua uh, culture in Yucatan, this animal is always connected to a priesthood, with the priesthood, the shaman warriors, the jaguar shaman warriors, and then you have the eagle shaman warriors. Uh, they have the eagle, the condor, they have the jaguar, the puma, all right, and the serpent is the serpent, all right. Um, there we go. Okay. All right. Only in the Toltec temples do we begin to find it as a symbol of the warrior class. So it breaks down that they were shamans, a priesthood, and they were warriors also. They learned the spiritual and the spiritual, mental, physical shit. All right. As in reliefs of the Temple of the Tigers and the platform just to the east of it at Chichen Itza. Okay, so remember, I was talking about the Olmec, or a melanated civilization. A lot of the heads look like Aboriginal, Negroid, dark Indian people, Ethiopian people, um, Mesoamerican people, and Asian people. All right. And these dragon civilizations, these serpent dragon civilizations, landed um in these different parts of the world. All right. So in North Central and South America, Alkebulan, Africa, and Asia. All right. This is where the Olmec civilization. Remember, you got to take it back to when the world was one landmass with bodies of water, Pangea. You had Lemuria Mu, which I read earlier for y'all, and then you have the Atlanteans, which these people, after their land was destroyed or messed up in some way, they traveled into other parts and thrived. All right. So, and a temple of tigers will be, it will have to also be in Asia somewhere, because they deal with the dragons and the tigers instead of the jaguars and the serpents. They have the dragons and the tigers. But okay, it says, and the platform just to the east of it at Chichen Itza. Uh, it is in the reliefs and frescoes of that masterpiece of Maya Toltec architecture. The Temple of Warriors, that we find the most striking illustration of animals symbolizing the Nua warrior chieftains who once ruled over the Yucatan. All right, many of them bear human hearts in their claws. All right, um, suggesting that the warriors whom they represent captured victims for human sacrifice. Now, I told y'all that some people got too greedy with the human sacrifice, but it also means you have the heart of a warrior, the heart of a warrioress. All right. Here we see the puma, the jaguar, and then they talk about the coyote or the fox and the eagle. All right. Although we have but little data on which to base an estimate of the age of the Toltec remains at Chichen Itza, it seems probable that the political hegemony of the city preceded that of the Mayapan. Consequently, we can hardly expect too close a correspondence between the references in the books of Chilam Balam. Now, I have this book. I tried to highlight this shit, but I have this book, Chilam Balam. It's basically the book for the Jaguar warriors, the Shaman warriors. All right, and I have that book, and it's written in another language, but I can decipher some of the pictures. I printed it off, and I didn't get it out today. I got a lot of them PDF books printed out on paper, so I will have them in case, the computer crashes or anything or internet crashes. I got physical books, all right, that I printed out. Okay, anyway, so, okay, it also goes on to say the references of the books of Chilam Balam and the sculptures at Chichen Itza, the Maya writers of the Spanish colonial period would have much more vivid recollection of the hegemony of Mayapan, which ended about the middle of the 15th century. Among the Mexicans, the jaguar was the strong and brave animal par excellence, the companion of the eagle. Indeed, the eagle and the jaguar was the conventional designation of brave warriors. And then they have the coyote was regarded in a twofold aspect. He was the god of singing and dancing, but as a beast of prey, he was also a symbol of a warrior. Um, and that would liken to um the wolf um in like North America, because you got the Thunderbird clans, the Snake clans, you have the wolf clans. Yeah. So let's see what else I got on here. Okay, now. All right, let's look at this. All right. Outstanding warriors appear both at dances and in battle, clothed in regalia representing whether it's the jaguar or the coyote, whatever animal spirit. All right. And I'm kind of paraphrasing. All right. So, because the focus is the jaguar and the eagle. They also have bravest and strongest animals and the symbol of the bold warrior, the hawk and the kinkajou are often mentioned in Mexican myths and stories along with the eagle and the jaguar. All right. So now with the Thunderbird clans, the red-tailed hawk or the hawk is also, you have like the Thunderbird, you will have the condor in where the Amarus are. You will have the condor and the puma where the Amarus are in Peru, Machu Picchu in that area. And you would have the Thunderbird, um, you will have the Thunderbird and the Snake Clan. You will also have the Jaguar and the Panther clans, you have the Wolf clans, you will have Bear clans. All of these animal spirits represented something spiritual and powerful. All right. And okay. I'm trying to get to the part that is talking about the Jaguar. All right. All right. All right. The books of Chilam Balam frequently depicted in Mexican art. All right, in manuscripts. All right, and this was passed down. Now, it says the Lord of the lower regions, or as the associate of certain gods in the Maya Dresden Codex. He is dressed as a dancer and brings on his back the regent of the new year. Nowhere do we find him associated with either war or chieftainship, except in the books of Chilam Balam. Okay, because some books have that private or secret spiritual knowledge. All right. Talks about the books of Chilam Balam. Although the meaning of the jaguars and the eagles at Chichen Itza have long been known, we should be tempted to ascribe a religious or mythological significance to the other animals found in the reliefs of the frescoes of that city if it were not for the information contained in these manuscripts. As it is, they take on a character of historical political figures. And I'm gonna look up that caste system so y'all can see I ain't making that shit up. All right, these are just images that called to me. Jaguar medicine. All right. Let me pull this up real quick. All right. The Spanish caste system. Okay. All right. Okay. You have this is part of some shit that these invaders everywhere made up, these colonizers everywhere made up, enslaved persons brought from Africa or the Caribbean, Native American Indians. Some of the first enslaved persons, indentured servants, were the Native American, the dark American Indians. All right. And then you have the mestizos, both born of Spanish and uh, American Indian parents. All right. And these two used to be just one group because when they first started the census rolls, it was just colored and white. That's it. And they put all the dark indigenous people in the colored slot. And then later they came up with white colored mulatto and Indian. This is what they came up with. And then as it progressed, they had all these things, right? And then it says Creoles. All right. Creoles born in New Spain of Spanish parents. All right. And then when you go to Louisiana, which is a whole nother thing, there are Spanish mixture Criollos and French mixture Creoles. They're dark indigenous people mixed with French, or dark indigenous people mixed with Spanish. And then you have Peninsulares, Spaniards born in Spain. You also have the Red Bones. My mother's side is connected to the Red Bones and Creoles. Let's look at this. This is the caste system. We're going to visit this page. All right. This shows you the caste system. This is what the colonizing Spanish people came and they gave this. Okay. Dark Indians with the Spanish. person is a mestizo. Okay, and then they got these other names, mulatto. Okay, Mora with the Spanish person, that's a mulatto. Morisco and a Espanola, that it says China. A Morisco is mulatto and Espanola. Uh, Mulatto and I can't read this, but you see what this is, and they kind of like, okay, here's the painting right here. This is the caste system that they made up. Or RJXI did not make this up. This is what they made up. Look at Walter Plecker in the eugenics movement. They did that to my ancestors. Read this book, That the Blood Stay Pure. Read this book. It talks about the eugenics movement, how on the census rolls, they only had white and colored first. Dark Indians were listed as colored in on the East Coast and that whole area. And yeah, read up on those. It's crazy how these colonizers came in and start naming our ancestors different names that were different from our indigenous native tongues, what we called it in our language, what we called ourselves in our language. But they came and brought separation. But as y'all saw, what I read is going to be a new world. It's going to be a new world where we marry the spiritual things and the scientific technological things. It's going to be a balance. But right now shit is like opposing and colliding right now. All right, but you see how they got this, right? All right. Espanol and Indian, a dark Indian is a mestizo, and then they keep going on to say this. This is what a mulatto is. Um, a Spanish Moor and a dark skinned Spanish Moor and a light skinned Spanish create a mulatto. You see this? Yeah. Salta Ahas. You have when a Chino and a dark Indian mate, they have this kind of offspring. So this is their caste system. All right. Just so y'all can see this. Okay, a Morisco. You have a mulatto and a dark Spanish person. And they just keep going on. This is what they came up with. All these little words. These are real paintings. Yes, it is. This is like a Spanish Moor or a dark indigenous person having a baby with this person. And this is for legal and societal implications. Y'all see this shit? I didn't make this shit up. So book reference. All right, they give book references for this, but I just had to show y'all. They have brought us a long way from. They brought us down from greatness with this bullshit, but we return into greatness. All right, with their little caste systems. Y'all can look this shit up. And this one got. Okay, this one says, see, the Spaniards, the colonizers, the light-skinned Spaniards, because they were Spanish Moors. The original Spanish, they were like dark. They have a lot of statues like gold embellished with feathers and everything. But these light-skinned Spaniards, white individuals born in Spain, this is their caste system. Criollos, all right. These are offspring of Spaniards born in the Americas. Like you got like New Iberia, you got Creoles and Criollos in the state of Louisiana. And you also have mestizos, you have mulattoes, zombos, indigenous, and Africans. But all of our ancestors, they didn't call themselves indigenous. They had a nation or a tribal name in their own language that they called themselves. They didn't call themselves indigenous or Africans or zombos, mulattoes, mestizos, Creoles. They didn't call themselves that. They had their own name in their own language that they called themselves. It wasn't until these colonizing people started giving our people all these different names. Just so y'all know. I didn't make this shit up. All right, so let's get back to this. All right. All right, so this is about the Eagle and Jaguar warriors. All right. The Shaman warriors, they were about spiritual things, mental things, and physical things. They had different spiritual exercises that they did, different ceremonies and rituals they did. They also knew how to fight physically. All right. So this is a depiction. All right. This is, all right, the red jaguar throne. Yeah. Okay. This is me at Chichen Itza. All right. This was by the observatory in the platform of the jaguars. All right. This is the Jaguar Mound, the platform of the jaguars. All right. So I went there to tap into this energy. All right. There's the mama jaguar. Great spirit sitting on her throne on the earthly realm. I think that's, yeah. Okay, so this is a jaguar shaman in transformation. Them tapping into this jaguar energy. All right. So now I was reading about the snake clans and the Thunderbird clans, but this video is dedicated to the Jaguar and the Eagle Shaman warriors. All right. Now, all right. So I'm gonna just read little bits and pieces. All right. Now, I did talk about this, and I showed y'all about the Cherokee serpents, protectors of the tribe. All right, protective powers. All right. And I talked about the healers. Now, the healers in the Cherokee are the shiny ones. All right. Getting snake tattoos, wearing snake regalia, all this. We talked about the Iroquois, the Shoshone, the Sioux, these various tribes, all right. But all of these these societies, these nations, these clans, these tribes are related in some way. Remember, I broke down about Lemuria, Mu, and the Atlanteans. All right. And they traveled to different parts of the earth to pass on this higher knowledge. All right. In this is talking about, all right, the Mayan Kukulcans, the serpent priesthood. All right. The eagle and the jaguar knights uniting polarity. All right. We're going to get to that. All right. This is talking about the Aztecs and Tula. Okay. Teotihuacan, the city of the Quetzalcoatls. All right. And that's basically from the Olmec serpent people from Olmec land down to Chavian. They were talking about um the the map. And I'm gonna pull up this map for y'all. I'm gonna pull up this map for y'all. Just a second. All right. Okay. All right. So this is the map. It's in this book that I'm reading from, The Return of the Serpents of Wisdom book. All right. We at the hour and 21 minutes mark. All right. So, all right. This is the worldwide serpent or dragon culture. All right. And don't be scared of serpent, snake, and dragon in this aspect because it's describing that spiritual, powerful energy that vibrates in this formation, like up your body. It's your power, it's great spirit's power inside of you. That's what it's describing. Okay. So over here in North America, which we were talking about, is the snake clans. All right. In North America, where you see these pyramids. And then you have in Central America the Quetzalcoatls. And then in South America, you have the Amarus. So the Quetzalcoatls and the Kukulcans are in this area. The Quetzalcoatls and the Kukulcans are in this area. Then you have the Amarus. And then in Akbulan, Africa, over in this area, you have the Djedhis. It's where the a lot of the Ethiopian. You also have the Levites, the Ashipus, the Dactyloi, the Tuaregs. All right. And then a part of Akbulan is eastern Ethiopia, the Nagas, where the Nagas are. India today, they call it India, but it's Hindustan, eastern Ethiopia. And then Asia, where the lung dragons are. This is a whole worldwide brother and sisterhood. Just so y'all know. It's a whole world. They are like one people underground while we up here arguing and debating and shit. We are part of a worldwide brother and sisterhood society. But this is the map. It is in this book. It is in this book. This green screen shit. But it's in this book. This book that I have right here. All right. So I wanted to read this excerpt about the eagle and the jaguar knights. All right. Let's make this a little bigger. All right. All right. So, all right. It says the eagle and the jaguar knights uniting the polarity. While much of Teotihuacan's spirituality was lost or distorted, it wasn't. They still have it. They still have preserved. They went underground. They're going to go on to say this, but all right, let's continue. All right. In its Aztec translation, some mystery schools were able to preserve the ancient rites and teachings of the Quetzalcoatls in their original purity. So they still have the original pure like copy of or knowledge of the ancient rites and teachings. Okay. All right. One such school in the Academy of Malinoco was founded high in the Mexican mountains by Quetzalcoatl missionaries. It became a training ground for the Jaguar and Eagle Knights. All right. This is on my bucket list. All right. I've been to the Yucatan, been to Puerto Maya, Cozumel, but I've been to the Yucatan. That was an important place for me to go. That's on my bucket list. But this place is on my bucket list. All right. All right. This is the training ground for the Jaguar and the Eagle Knights, two orders of initiates who zealously guarded the authentic teachings of the plum serpent ancestors or the feathered serpent ancestors. Quetzalcoatl Kukulcan is representing the feathers of a great bird. All right. And the serpent. That's meaning that it's marrying the spiritual things with the earthly things. It's marrying them. It's marrying them. It's a balance, okay? All right. Okay. The Malinoco Academy consisted of a group of temples and dormitories richly ornamented with serpents and other sacred motifs. The main temple, an imposing circular temple carved directly out of the rock, which held the power of pre-existing vortex. Okay, so these temples and pyramids and mounds are built on powerful earth energy vortexes. All right, or ley lines and vortexes. All right. It was guarded, all right, at its entrance by two gigantic serpent heads, the serpent twins. The walls within the temple were covered with symbols associated with the three worlds, which I told y'all was the underworld, the earthly realm, and the heavens, the cosmos, the spiritual world. All right. As well as numerous motifs explaining how to master them. All right, how to master each world. So that was like an assignment for these shaman warriors to master the underworld, the earth realm, and the spiritual realm. All right, that's the goal, to master this. All right. One of the most theologically instructive temples in the complex possessed a doorway in the shape of a huge serpent and contained images of the jaguar and eagle within them. Such occult symbology suggests that within the body of the primal serpent exists the twins. So the great serpent is the mother, Kotaku, Mother Earth. All right. Kotaku is the great mother. Okay, the great primal serpent that they talking about. And in her womb is the twins. This is how they patterned this temple. They built this temple to look like the aspect of the great mother and the twins in her womb. So inside this great temple, you have the jaguar and the eagle. All right. And sometimes in different spirituality systems, they will say the female is the spiritual item or the spiritual jaguar, and then the male is the serpent. They play with the roles, but it's always a feminine and a masculine to complement. All right. So it's saying that this symbology that within the body of the primal serpent, Kotaku, exists the twins, the eagle and the jaguar. Okay. It says, in this aspect, they say the male is the heavenly twin, and then they say the jaguar is the female, the earthly twin. As part of the secret spiritual training they had inherited from the Quetzalcoatls, the Olmec Quetzalcoatls, the eagle and the jaguar, shaman warriors, they say knights, learned to perform ancient hieroglyphic dances which represent the unfolding drama of the male and female principles as they interacted within the cosmos. The dances often commenced with the harmony and or conflict of the polarity and ended with their reconciliation and reunion, the goal of creation. Okay, back when I was reading about Lemuria, Mu, and Atlanteans, okay, when it was destroyed, and they moved somewhere else, it talks about there is a union, then there is a fight, a conflict, and then there is a separation, destruction, and then there's a reunion, a reunification, a reconciliation. So you have life, death, rebirth, resurrection. So even our human in actions, human and mankind actions, we go through these different cycles and stages. The earth and the planets, everything, the universe goes through these cycles: birth, life, death, rebirth. All this, it goes in these cycles continuously, infinitely. Okay, it does. All right. Now it's saying, it talks about reconciliation and reunion, the goal of creation. All right. Spiritual initiation at Malinoko involved the observance of severe austerities like fasting and shit over a designated period of time. If the candidates remained firm and succeeded in completing these austerities, they were knighted and entrusted with the caretakership of the secret teachings of the Quetzalcoatl lineage, while commenting on the secret initiation process of the shaman warriors, the knights. This writer, he was a Spanish historian. He said, first of all, they were locked for 40 or 70 days in a temple of their idols, and they fasted all the time and communicated with none but those who served them. At the end of that time, they were taken to the great temple and were given important doctrines of life, which they must keep and guard. But there's also a time of revealing, like with the book of Revelation. It's a time of revealing these secrets. So they weren't supposed to be secret and guarded forever. They're meant to be shared with the people when the people were ready. All right. Over the course of these centuries, certain people were ready, so they were taught these things. All right. But now we are living in this age of information when things are shared. This is the revealing time. So people in these different secret societies, whether it's in your bloodline or you're an adept of it, it's being revealed to you. All right. It's time for revealing this stuff. All right. And it talks about the Mayan Kukulcans, and the Mayan serpent priesthood. But I want to read this. It talks about this. Okay, the goal of the Mayan life was to ascend to upper ranks of the sacerdotal hierarchy and become a serpent priest and Kukulkan. All right, it just means a shaman warrior. All right, near the bottom rung of the Mayan hierarchical ladder were two classes of priests or shamans intimately involved with Mayan sacrifices. The Nakoms and the Chaks. These shamans, priests, superintended the sacrifice of plants, minerals, and animals. Um, okay, when they say sacrifice in this aspect is, okay, like when you get plants, you pluck them out of the earth and you eat them, right? That's a sacrifice of the plants, minerals, and animals. Like when you eating chicken and all the shit that you eat in a day. Okay. All right. It says they oversaw the sacrifice of the supreme offering. It's an offering. All right. When you pay homage to your ancestors, you give these offerings, right? And they also talk about the offering of the human heart. And it's also offering your heart, your devotion to these spiritual practices. You're giving your all, you're giving your heart. You were flowing in spiritual stuff and you flowing in warriorish shit. All right. You got heart. You got a spiritual heart and you got heart. All right. It's that type of thing. All right. Okay. It talks about what they did. They describing like what they did. And usually they did this to the enemy. This green screen done fell down. But anyway, all right. And it just talks about how they held their arms and legs down, and then they cut out their beating hearts to offer it to the high gods. Above the Nakoms and the Chaks were the Balams. Okay, so the Nakoms and the Chaks, they were like a high ranking. All right. The Balams were the Jaguar shamans, the Jaguar priests. The Balams were keepers of the sacred records. The historical recollections, okay, were compiled into a series of sacred texts known as the Books of Chilam Balam. The Balams were also preeminent welders of the raw explosive power of the Jaguar, which they used for both soothsaying, divining, and healing. All right. Hence, this is why I was given the last name of the Jaguar. All right. Okay. It says it was used for soothsaying, divining, prophesying, all of that, anything spiritual or a spiritual oracle, a spiritual knowing, a spiritual knower. Um, Anything that's dealing with the spiritual realm, this is why they show these people in transformation, the shaman going through these different transformations. All right. So they were used both for soothsaying and healing. They were a branch of the Serpent Jaguar people, which once inhabited an area stretching from the Olmec heartland to Chavin in central Peru. And I showed y'all the map. All right. So in this area that I'm circling, where the Quetzalcoatls and Kukulcans are. All right. All right. So, all right. All right. So, all right. And then it talks about Mayan art captures this. It's a lot. Okay. Let's look at this. Okay. All right. I finished reading this about the doorway. Okay. They learned the eagle and the jaguar shaman warriors, the knights. They are the uniting of polarity, right? So with this, all right, it talks about the female principles as they interacted within the cosmos. The dances often um, commenced with the harmony and or conflict of the polarity and ended with their reconciliation and reunion, the goal of creation. Um, all right. I read part of this, but we're gonna continue. All right. It says spiritual initiation at Malenoko involved the observance of severe um, austerities over a designated period of time. If the candidates remained firm and succeeded in completing these austerities, they were knighted. All right. Basically, they got their stripes. Okay, they got their regalia. They went through a ceremony. They were graduation. They were initiated, graduated. All right, and then they suited up. All right. All right, and entrusted with the caretakership of the secret teachings of the Quetzalcoatl lineage. While commenting, okay, the secret initiation process of the knights, the priests, the shamans, it says that they were locked in the chambers for 40 to 70 days in the temple of their idol, meaning which totem or which spirit they represented. If they were jaguar, flowing in that energy, they were locked in there with that. If they were eagles, then they were locked in that temple. They represented that. Okay, they fasted, they went through all this, and they were given these important doctrines to safeguard and keep. All right. Now it talks about we talked about that book, Chalam Balam. I have that book, but I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. All right. These priests, kings, shamans, sages known as serpent priests or kukulcans, feathered serpents or plumed serpents. One of their primary headquarters of the Mayan kukulcans in the Yucatan is the holy city of Chichen Itza. So I traveled to the holy city of Chichen Itza and it was awesome. All right, and I did show y'all a picture of that, of me there. All right. All right, according to this this Arthur Thompson, the temple compound at Chichen Itza was first built by Mayan Kanab, or serpents, who had arrived from Tamoanchan. They were assisted by the great patriarch of Itza Maya, the Kukulcan Itzamna. In the last video, I spoke about the house of the reptiles. Okay, so you have reptiles, snakes, and serpents. These beings are just a representation of your life force, your powerful energy, your sacred fire, your chakras, your DNA. Okay, this is what it represents. All right. Now it's saying that yeah, and he had an entourage of serpent builders. Sometimes later in its history, the city was rebuilt and enlarged by the Toltec king Quetzalcoatl of Tula, thereby becoming the official meeting place. This was Chichen Itza is the official meeting place of the Quetzalcoatls and Kukulcans. This is why I was so drawn to go there. And it finally happened. I have been speaking on it, learning and researching and going through like some spiritual initiations that was on a whole nother level. And going through austerities like a motherfucker. Because when you go through different spiritual initiations and you're an adept, you go through shit at different times. You have like highs and lows, and then you have balance points, and you like, okay, I love the highs. I do. All right. Now, all right, it's just saying that this at Chichen Itza, this is the official place of the meeting place of the Quetzalcoatls and the Kukulcans. All right, in this area. All right. Now, all right. Constructed in the center of Chichen Itza was the Temple of Kukulcan Quetzalcoatl, one of the most important temples of the Yucatan Kukulcans. Twice a year, the centrally located pyramid's temple became the birthing place of a seven-faceted serpent. During the spring and fall equinoxes, when the polarity united as the androgynous serpent, the shadow of a snake could be seen and can still be as seven united triangles slithering down the steps of the pyramid of Quetzalcoatl Kukulcan, since it was common to conduct initiations and special rituals in Mesoamerica during the equinoxes. It can be assumed that initiations into the lineage of Kukulcans took place either within or upon the summit of the temple during the sacred time of the year. And this is why they have these initiations during the equinoxes, because that's when the polarities are united. Everything is equal. All right. The female and the male, the female principles and the male principles, the spiritual principles and the earthly principles are equal. There's a balance. And this is why you have initiations and ceremonies and rituals during this time, because this is when the daylight hours and the nighttime hours, the sun and the moon hours are equal. All right. Nobody is higher or lower than the other. It is equal. Okay. This is why they have initiations during this time. All right. So, all right. it says the Mayan serpent culture, paralleling their sibling cultures. All right, but let me show y'all one thing since we just read about the equinoxes. I don't even know what I did with that picture. But these are two book recommendations. I have these two books. This is one, Return of the Thunder Beings. This deals with the Thunderbirds, the Thunder Beings, the ThunderBird clans, and then this deals with the Jaguar, the serpents, the eagles, the jaguars, all of the animals. All these things represent a spiritual principle. They just use an animal to describe it, but it is a spiritual principle. All right, so these are the two books that I recommend. One deals with the sacred Thunderbird, the Phoenix energy, the Thunder Beings, and then this deals with the serpents, also the jaguars, the eagles, and the various animal spirits. All right. But I was trying to look for that picture, but I showed it to y'all in the video. That shows the Quetzalcoatl or the Kukulcan descending or ascending up the pyramid. I showed y'all a diagram of that. Y'all can rewind it and watch it. All right. Okay. We talked about that. Okay. It says paralleling their sibling cultures. Okay. The Olmecs and the Toltecs, the Maya, regarded the primal serpent as an integral part of their lives, according to the accepted philosophy propagated by the Kukulcan shamans, shaman priests. The universe was created by the primal serpent and its progeny, the sea, the earth, the sky, and the cycles of nature, were intimately associated with the great beast. Okay, and they saying beast. Why are they saying beast? Okay, the earth was formed on the back of a great aquatic reptile. Okay, in North America, we say Turtle Island. All right, they are saying that the earth was formed on the back of a great aquatic reptile. The sea, with its undulating waves, was called can, or serpent. All right. And the cycles of time reflected the birth, growth, and death of the serpent. So you have the birth, the life, the death of the serpent. Then it's reborn, resurrected, transformed. Okay. And they also use the serpent, the snake, the reptile, the dragon motif because after each of these stages, then it sheds its old skin. Even as Bible scripture talking about old skins and new skins. You don't want to put new wine in old skins. And they got a lot of this stuff from our ancestors, but how they teach it to the common person is distorted. But all right, the serpent sheds its skin, the snake sheds its skin, the dragon, the reptile that has scales, it sheds its old skin, and new skin is it's emerges, burst forth. All right. So um okay. Since the universe was a reflection of the primal serpent, the Mayan acknowledged that to be in harmony with the cosmos required aligning with the shape, movement, and cycles of the cosmic serpent. Okay, so being one with the universe, or tapping into the knowledge, the wisdom of the universe. All right. On earth as it is in heaven, as above, so below, all of that, right? In their quest to achieve this goal, they studied the designs found on physical snakes and patterned their creations accordingly. States the Mayan scholar, Diaz Bolio, Mayan art, architecture, geometry, and religion all derive from the Mayan rattlesnake Crotalus Djedhis Tzapkin. Its skin pattern, the four vertex Kana Mayete, which in Mayan means four corner square. I may have butchered that word, but forgive me. All right, shows a basic symmetrical design. So coinciding with the rhomboid pattern are the outlines of the Mayan thatched roof house, the pyramid, the temple roof vault or false arch, the design on a Mayan blouse, and even the flattened forehead of the Maya it's himself. He wrote this shit. Check his words. Okay. All right. So they're just talking about this when they're talking about the Mayan serpent priesthood. You have the lower priests who are the Nakums, the Nakams, and the Chaks. And then you have the Balams, the Jaguar priests. The Jaguar priests, the Shaman warriors, they were the Balams. That's what they were called. There's another place where they have Ekbalam, the Black Jaguar. We're gonna visit that later. But Chilam Balam is like their book. They also have a book of writings that they have to safeguard. They have to learn it, know it, and safeguard it. But now it is a revealing of this stuff. All right. All right. They also were also preeminent welders of the raw explosive power of the Jaguar, which they used for both soothsaying and healing. All right. So when you see them, the Olmec Quetzalcoattls transforming into the Jaguar, they are tapping into the shaman part of soothsaying and healing. They were a branch of Serpent Jaguar people, which once inhabited the area stretching from the Olmec heartland to Chavin in central Peru. All right. So, and this is when we started talking about the ThunderBird clans in North America. All right. The Cherokee Serpents and the Sioux and all that. So, we're going to finish reading this part. And then I'm going to cut this video short because I don't want them to be like 3 hours long. I really didn't want it to be 2 hours long, but we covered a lot. All right. See my previous videos if you have any questions. All right. So, okay. Near the top of the Mayan sacerdotal ladder were the chief priests known both as Ahua Khan Mai or serpent priests. All right, serpent shamans, and the Akinmai or the sun priests, the solar priests. These priests or shamans embodied the light and wisdom of the sun spirit or the solar spirit while wielding its explosive serpent power. They were the main officiants of Mayan religious ceremony and oversaw all sacrifices and initiations. All right. At the pinnacle of the Mayan spiritual hierarchy was the priest king or the shaman king, a descendant or official representative of the lineage of Kukulcans or Quetzalcoatls, which stretched back to Tamoanchan and perhaps Lemuria and Atlantis. All right. The Mayan ruler was an androgynous dragon king. It's the great serpent mother, Kotaku, that I showed y'all before. They have many different names in their different languages. All right. All right. The union of twins, the fraternal twins, the female and the male. All right. They wore representations of Hanapu or Shibalinke, Balinke, Shibalinke, the mythical Mayan twins, all right, whose polar opposite principles were emerged within itself. All right. Upon its head sat the colorful Quetzalcoatl, the Quetzal feathers. There's a Quetzal bird. There's also the condor, the eagle, or the macaw. But the Quetzal feathers, symbolic of Hanapu, the spiritual twin, while covering its hands were the distinctive jaguar gloves of Shabalinke, the jaguar and material twin. All right. I talked to y'all about the jaguar being the earthly representation of Great Spirit on the earthly realm. All right. Okay. When functioning as a cosmic tree, the welder of the serpent jaguar power, the Kukulcan or the Quetzalcoatl shaman priest king or queen, was believed capable of channeling through its body the highest and most explosive frequencies of life force. It could or they could either use these frequencies for their own spiritual transformation or radiate them into a surrounding area for the material prosperity of his subjects. Let's get to radiating this. All right, for our people to have prosperity, material prosperity, being spiritually prosperous and materially prosperous. Okay, so this is one of the powers that the shaman warriors that they have access to. This is power that they have access to and they can use it. All right, it says they are capable, a Kukulkan, a Quetzalcoatl, and a Maru, all of these people here, all these people, the ThunderBird and SnakeClans can tap into this power. The Kukulcans and Quetzalcoatls can tap into this power. The Amarus can tap into it. The Djedhis can tap into it. The Adders, the Teregs, the Ashipu, the Levites, the Dactyloids, the Nagas, the Lung Dragons. All of these people can tap into this power. All right. And some of y'all are descendants of these sacred clans, these sacred societies and civilizations, and you don't know it. Or you get like some experiences that are unexplainable, or you happen upon the explanation of it and you're an adept. All right. You tap into this. All right. Just as I have tapped into some of these things. All right. I've had actual experiences and some of them I have read about. All right. Or I learned about certain things. It was revealed to me as an adept. All right. Also as a blood descendant of some of these tribes. Some of you all are also. So just check out your genealogy. Do your genealogy. See what clans you're a part of, what animal spirits you have a connection to, or which animal totem was your family's totem. But your spirit guides are a whole nother story. You can be in the adepthood with your animal spirits, your guides, your spirit guides. You could be an adept. You're gonna have, let me tell you, you're gonna have highs and lows, and then you're gonna have times when it's balanced. But you gonna feel, you're gonna get to experience a lot of shit. Okay? Just so you know. All right, now it goes on to say, all right, I believe I read that one right there, but it says, okay, that these Jaguar shaman priests, all of these shaman warriors, all right, they are capable of channeling through their body the highest and most explosive frequencies of life force. Okay, this is why they describe it as this dragon or this serpent, this thunderbird. A thunderbird, a thunder being also deals with fire, the thunderbolt, all that. These motifs are related. They have similarities to describe a spiritual thing that's happening within you. Okay, it's like receiving the Holy Spirit, but on a whole nother level. Receiving the Holy Spirit, they don't even really it don't really scratch the surface. It's kind of like, that's like the ground level. This goes to a whole nother level. All right. But we can liken to that, receiving the Holy Spirit. This is how our ancestors described it. All right. So it's saying that you can channel the highest and most explosive frequencies of life force. All right. You could use these frequencies for your own spiritual transformation, or you can radiate them into the surrounding areas for the material prosperity of your team, your clan, your nation, your tribe, your civilization, your societies. You can share this energy. You can channel it, you can use it for yourself, and you can use it for your family, your worldwide family. All right. For material prosperity. All right. And then we did read about the initiations. This is talking about okay, what happens? All right, initiation into the order of Kukulcans Quetzalcoattls. All right, initiation into the order of Kukulcans was administered within the Mesoamerican temple or pyramids and occurred during the solstices and equinoxes or other pivotal holy days determined by the Tzolk'in or the sacred calendar. Okay, and I have the second calendar. All right. Following a fast and often a purifying sweat lodge ceremony. All right. I have cards that are patterned after these codexes. This is a shaman on top of the Great Pyramid of Kukulkan. All right. Tapping into these spiritual principles. All right. And they also have a card about the sweat lodge ceremony. See, I go hard and deep with this shit. If you get a spirituality reading from me, you will get to experience that. But yeah, I just have to stop for a second and show y'all. But this is the stuff that I do. All right, this card right here, Atoll Water. This is a shaman preparing for the ceremony. All right, the ceremony. All right, a sweat lodge ceremony, the cleansing and purification. All right. Add water. All right. I just had to show y'all that. All right. So it goes on to say, all right. Okay. Following a fast and often a purifying sweat lodge ceremony, the initiates or candidates will be escorted between the monstrous serpents, dragons, or the gaping serpent mouths, which flanked the entrance. It's like you going into the mouth of the serpent. Okay. And inside the serpent is the jaguar and the eagle. Remember? All right. The entrance into an initiation temple pyramid. All right. All right. Upon arriving within the edifice's inner sanctums, they will be taken before an image of the world, the cosmic tree, the road connecting heaven and earth, which would rise up above or in back of the main altar. Then the following, the recitation of mantra chants, and rites by the Kukulcans shamans, priests, the initiates, candidates, inner Kulthanalini, or Mayan for Kundalini. Okay, so your Kundalini will be awakened. Remember, I said they are using the symbology of these animals or birds or reptiles to describe the movement of your life force, your Kundalini, your Wakanyan, your Prana, your Chi, and also your DNA. This is the spiral, your DNA. Okay. It's saying your Kundalini would awaken. As it moved up the spine, the fire serpent would pierce the 7 chakras. Okay, choklas is Mayan word for chakras, choklas, and completely activate the dormant dragon body, the vehicle through which the new initiate would eventually be able to travel the Kushim Sum, the intergalactic grid leading to the umbilical cord of the universe. When it finally reaches its destination at the top of the head, the Kundalini, the Kothanalini would merge into the crown chokla or crown chakra and fully awaken within the initiate the enlightened consciousness of the Kukulcans. All right. So y'all can do a screenshot of this. That's what I just read. And it's describing an initiation of the Kukulcans, the Quetzalcoatls. All right. All right. Let me see. I think I'm going to end it here, but I wanted to show y'all this. Now, if y'all want to know about the different sects, because we're going to touch on the Nagas and the Jedi's, and I'm going to put that on my Enigma Solver Chronicles playlist. The Jedi, because Moses and the Levites and Jesus, they learned from the Jedi. And they have their own little sect, which are called the Levite possessors of fire, in which they are here. So we're going to go over all of these. We're gonna go more in depth over the Snake Clan with the Thunderbirds, the Thunder Beings, and the Hopi prophecies, and the different spirituality and culture systems of um, indigenous Aboriginal peoples in the Americas, North America. We've been going over the ones in Central America mainly, touching on the Amarus a little bit of Peru. And then we're gonna deal with the Jedi, the Tuaregs, the Levites, the Shipus, the Nagas, and then the Lunge Dragons. So, this is the worldwide Serpent Dragon Culture. And the founders of this were basically in Lemuria, and Atlantis. You have the Xi, the Olmec, the Xi, the Tamoanchans, which is a collective civilization of melanated beings from the Aboriginal Negroid type to the Mesoamerican, and then you have the Ethiopian, and the Ethiopian, where you have also the Jedi, the Shipus, and then the Nagas, the Eastern Ethiopians. And then you have the lung dragons from Asia. So those Olmec heads look like people from each of these areas. And they gave an Olmec head to Ethiopia, which is in Africa. Alkebulan. Asia has one. The Americas have one. Several. But you can look that up. Who got all the Olmec heads and what do they look like? But they look like the various people of color, melanated people, from the darkest Aboriginal indigenous peoples to the lighter ones. All right. From North, Central, South America, Alkebulan, Africa, Eastern Ethiopia, Hindustan, and Asia. So this concludes the video, but we will go over the Nagas and the Djedhis. One of the videos I did on my Enigma Solver Chronicles does tap into the Jedi's and where did Jesus go? Where did he disappear to when he turned 12? He learned from the Jedi and the Levites. Moses got his game from the Jedi, the Levites. The Levites came. It's kind of like after the Jedi's, like they are a branch off of it. And the Nagas. So we'll do a series with the Jedi and the Nagas, and we'll connect them to the lung dragons. But we're gonna finish up. We did the Quetzalcoatls and the Kukulcans, which are in the middle, and we're gonna look at the Amarus and the Snake Clans of North America. All right. And you see mainly, where is this at? You see, like, this is in Louisiana, in this area right here. And then you have over here. So you're going to have a lot of, like, with the Hopi, the Sioux, okay, and you're also going to have southeastern and the south these are some clans, all right? Some important clans in these areas, all right? And remember, these clans also house other animal spirits, okay, that are very important, that describe different spiritual and practical principles, okay? So I love y'all. I'm signing out. Y'all have a good night. I love y'all. Peace.